having introduced me so nicely. This heightens the standards of expectation, which I'm not happy about, but that's how it is. I'm reading this title of our conference, What's the Line Between Us, as what is dividing us. And my answer is, what is dividing us is what we have in common. And what we have in common is capitalism. So it's capitalism that is dividing us. And I'll specify this hypothesis. In 2013, United Nations Human Development Report announced the rise of the South, which of course at the same time means the decline of the North. This is the share of world production that's produced in southern countries like Brazil, China, and India. And these are the developed capitalist countries that rose at the beginning of the 19th century, dominated the rest of the 19th century and the 20th century, and are now declining, while the new emergent economies, the new emergent mega societies like India and China are taking over. So how is the North reacting to this situation? We can see here, it's a map of European Union where social inequalities are being marked with yellow, with strong yellow, and the light yellow is representing egalitarian or relatively egalitarian societies. So you see that a new periphery is being created around a European Union, which means at the same time non-egalitarian and exploited societies. And it's interesting that Great Britain is joining periphery. So now these are representations of wage shares within gross national product, gross domestic product, and they are declining almost everywhere, also within the emergent economies. So where is this, and that's the USA, a more reliable representation because it's done by Federal Reserve developed database. So you see that also in the United States, salaries, wages are falling down, and importantly so. Now, where is this money going? This money, of course, is going to the profits. For this era, during the era of the social state and East and West, historical socialisms or social democratic social state in the West, wages. Oh, sorry. Wages were following productivity rise. Now, from 1970 or at least 1970s, with neo-conservative and neo-liberal counter-revolution, the productivity is still rising, but the wages are not following anymore. So there is another representation of the same phenomenon. And now where this money is going to the profits. So wage share is the green line. Blue share are the gross profits, and red line are the profits after the taxes. So you see that profits are rising while wages are declining, and that's the reaction of the former center of world economy, of the former hegemon, the North Atlantic area basis, to its own crisis. It's pressing on the wages, that means on the working people. Now this is another very interesting graph, which is showing that how wages have been rising during past 30 years, and you see that the highest 5% of salaries have importantly increased, while all the rest is in depression, and the lowest salary income are even in the minus, are even decreasing in absolute terms. So you see that the exploitation is increasing, especially of the lower strata of population. Now this is a graph taken from the famous Thomas Piketty book, Capital for the 21st Century. It shows you the movement of inequalities from the beginning of the 19th century till nowadays. And the interesting thing is that United States, which are for us a kind of paradigm of inegalitarian society, overtook Europe, developed Europe in inequalities only during the 60s. This means only when the real neoconservative counter-revolution started in the United States and Great Britain. So this is the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development presentation of inequalities in the member states. You can see easily that the most unegalitarian countries are Chile, Mexico, Turkey. The yellow losange is the state of inequalities in mid-80s, and the blue is the 1910 or the 2008, before the crisis, status, and you can see that there are very few countries that succeeded to diminish inequality in those 30 years. Now, I'm proud of Slovenia, which is still the most egalitarian country in the OECD membership. And you see that, some post-socialist countries are faring quite high, like Estonia, and the rest is still quite fine, faring well, Czech Republic, Slovakia, etc. So why is this happening? This is happening because a major transformation of capitalism is happening, and that means that no more we have long-term employment, permanent employment, but we have precarious employment. And this is a graph of mine which wants to show that the ways of exploitation are now diversified, which means no more this old Fordist social state situation when you had permanent employed workers in factories, trade unions were strong, there were parties representing working people, the social state was strong. Now the image is like this, it's fragmented, trade unions are losing membership, thousands of different labor arrangement, but what we call standard employment arrangements are now a minority. It means permanent labor contract. So what is the reaction of people who have to work and live under these conditions? The reaction is adaptation. And what is adaptation? The unit of national economy is household. So now the household has fragmented, heterogeneous and uncertain income. Father has just lost the job. He's on unemployment support. The mother is working for an ethnic company where they're working from 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening, and her income is low. The daughter is selling on the flea market whatever she can get, mostly smuggled cigarettes, and the brother is coming from time to time with high sums of money. Nobody wants to ask where they're coming from. So the household have to reorganize. They have to pull together all their income and control their members so they don't fly away. And how do they do it? With the means of the board. And what are the means of the board? It's religion, patriarchal family, ethnic solidarity, with one word, identity. So the way how people react, how are forced to react to this situation, actually reproduces fragmentation, it reproduces rigidity, and it's aimed mostly against women and young people. So we have, instead of nations, we now have identity communities, small, closed, and internally repressive and externally aggressive. So what does this mean for kind of general consciousness? This means that we are living in culture, no more in politics. Why culture? Because culture, from Renaissance on, has been the autonomous sphere, has been the realm of human values, trans-historical values, which means you don't ask where those values are coming from. Culture is emancipated from its historical and social conditions of emergence. You don't ask yourself, where is this religious crap coming from? You don't ask yourself what this patriarchal repression is coming from. You say, these are eternal human values of our identity. And if you do this, you are no more able to connect with history, and you are no more able to form, to imagine an alternative project for the future. And we are no more even able to imagine a new task for the future in anachronistic terms, as the bourgeois revolutions did, according to this famous Marxian quotation from the 18th Brumaire. This situation was problematized by Stodielat from St. Petersburg group, and they made a video on the theme of a famous painting. And the question they are asking is, this is a remaking of Stроители Bratska, of the builders of Bratsk. And they are saying, well, there are thousands of workers behind builders of Bratsk, and who is behind us? Now, if you look at the Popkov's canvas, you see that there is nobody behind the builders of Bratsk. You see the evening Angara river behind, some lights, but no thousands of workers. It's almost like La Grande Jatte de Serra. Look, it's not quite, but it's almost like this. It's a group, this is a group of, these are particular groups pasted together to make a composition. And here we have a group of individual portraits pasted against each other, also in juxtaposition. So where are the thousands of workers? This is, of course, by the way, called socialist humanism. And it's one of those attempts, you take it's like socialist market or socialist market economy. You take a bourgeois institution like market or humanism and you prefix it with socialist that you think you've produced something new. So nevertheless, why we can still say there are thousands of workers behind those figures. It's because we are looking at them in this way, and they are returning our gaze, and it seems as they were ratifying our presupposition. Now the problem with, so we have to look at this picture on the background of socialist impressionism like this, where the human figure is sucked into the process of work, or like this, where human figure is there to show the dynamics of the process of work. Here we have a different situation. It's the viewer who is projecting the masses of workers behind those figures. And the problem of Studiellat is that not that they don't have anybody behind, they have nobody in front of them. Nobody is viewing them. That's the contemporary art problem. Nobody gives a damn about it. So their situation is that they are squeezed between a past ideology with which we cannot connect anymore, and with a present ideology that does not connect with them. Now, don't be afraid, it's not such a new situation. This is Luca Signorelli. This is Luca Signorelli, and it's, of course, it's just another Madonna with the child. But if you look in the background, these are Arcadian shepherds. There is one who is blowing the flute. There is this beautiful Arcadian ass here. There are two ideologies on this painting. One in front is the dominating ideology of Christian Catholic Christianism. The other behind is the Medici ideology of the new golden age brought about by the Medici domination of Florence and represented by Arcadian utopia. Here's another one, which is even better, because the Arcadian figure behind is this. And this is a sculpture that was discovered. It's a Hellenistic sculpture that was discovered at the same time. It's the guy who is pulling out a thorn from his foot. So you know, between the dominating ideology and the ideology of the dominating, there is not much space for the artist and for the artwork. And you can see that Signorelli who is an amazing artist, didn't feel very happy with it. And this one, this one was actually commissioned by Lorenzo de' Medici. So look, but there was a way out of this trap, out of this dead end, which was invented by Michelangelo. Michelangelo's idea was, Michelangelo's task was the same. Madonna with the child in the front, and then something Arcadian, the golden age in the background. Now he translated it into a technical question. The great debate at that time was whether it's more important to design or more important to be a good colorist. So Michelangelo was a partisan of design, of disegno, but he is beating his opponents on their own grounds with this sculptural coloring called cangiamento. You see, it's like a sculpture, this group. And it's achieved with a special technique that was started by Cennini and developed later, and Michelangelo was a master of it, so he was beating his opponents on their own grounds. And the other, of course, the other debate was perspective. And you see, you have two perspectives on this painting. One is sacred group perspective, where the horizon is the plexus solaris of the Virgin. And the horizon of the group behind is a little higher. So he translated the ideological problem into an artistic craft problem and resolved it in an ingenious way. Look at this group behind. What is this group behind? They say, well, it's taken from Laocoon, whatever, Hellenistic figure. But look, this is an erotic drama. You have a couple here, and this guy is jealous. And there is and here is the group that is watching this drama. So and this, you see, John the Baptist is looking back, although he was announcing the coming of those. So my interpretation of this is that this behind is the golden age. That's real life. And then those obscurantists came, and they're blocking the view. But it's a great painting, isn't it? So a contemporary artist, Sanja Iveković, had the same problem. She was invited to produce a work of art for an exhibition called The Ambiguities of Luxembourg Identity. Now, Luxembourg has a national monument that is called Golden Lady, and it's in commemoration of the victims of the First World War, Second World War, and Korean War. And it has a history which is very interesting. I'm not going into details. Basically, it's a monument to the dead, which is at the same time the monument of Luxembourg identity. Sanja Iveković made a replica of this monument with two interventions. The first one is that she made the allegorical female figure pregnant. And the second intervention was that she called her Lady Rosa of Luxembourg. So my interpretation again is, and she put some inscriptions around that say kitsch, war, la résistance, and then these are the reactions of the audience to this artistic intervention. They say Rosa geh hem, which in Luxembourg language means Rosa go home. And well, they recognized the reference. So my analysis, my analysis is this, that the constitutive opposition of a nationalist or identitary ideology is time versus space. So you have time as national history, and you have national territory that is condensed in one monumental point, the Golden Lady. Now, the time-space opposition, of course, is also constitutive of the post-romantic art, as we know from Lessing's classical Laocoon, when he says, it's false to say ut pictura poiesis. He says, poetry is not like painting. Painting is an art of space and poetry of time. So, what she did, she introduced a real historical person, and such a historical person that proposes a different interpretation of historical processes, not as national history, but as history as class struggle. And she proposed, instead of allegory, again a real historical person, and again national economy, which is the real basis of national ideologies. The production of things. She proposed production of people, which means women, family. And finally, I won't go into details, my reading of this work of art is against the monument to the dead, a monument to the living. Thank you.